Hey guys, while I was making my Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus review, which you can go check out if you're interested in that review, while I was making that, MKBHD released his review of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. And I made the strategic choice to not watch it, even though maybe, I don't know, it may have been the smart choice to watch that review before I released mine. We're gonna find out today if I regret doing that or not. But first, let me tell you the reason. Stop it. The moment I start shooting, you are all up in my business. You okay? So there's two reasons why I didn't want to watch his review before I released mine. The first one, maybe like less of a big deal to me, but I just didn't want my opinions that I had already written down and shot. I had already shot the video, I was editing. I was really late stage editing. So I didn't want to like wildly change my opinions by watching his video and be like swayed or biased by his video. But I think more importantly, like his videos are so top-notch produced that I didn't want to watch his video and then basically get insecure about my video and like the quality of it, and it kind of creatively can put me in a dark place where I think about like, does the world even need the video that I'm working on right now? Like, is it worthwhile? And I just didn't want to put myself through that. So I strategically decided not to watch it because I was very happy with what I made with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus review. And I didn't want to have that tainted at all. I wanted to enjoy just being satisfied with my own work. Since I released that review, I did have one major mistake in it, which was the price of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. I got wrong. They're $150. I was looking at the Samsung Galaxy Buds on Amazon and not the Buds Plus. So I've corrected that link. There is a link in the pinned comment and description of this video with the correct link. I apologize about getting that wrong, and I'm assuming when I'm looking or watching, or when we watch this video together, I'm going to realize that had I watched that review before I released my video, I would have gotten that correct. So I'm assuming that that's the case, but I'm kind of curious what else I may have gotten wrong. I clearly am a walled garden fanboy, Apple fanboy, and so I definitely feel the heat a little bit about not being a Samsung fanboy, and y'all came for me. So let's watch this video, and yeah, we'll see what shakes out here. How's my hair look, by the way? Is it like, oh my god, it's like nutty. God, this hair's, I think I made it worse. We're just gonna have to accept whatever it looks like right now. Okay, had to move to the bedroom to record the screen. I just gotta say, MKBHD's channel is just awesome. It looks great. His thumbnails are incredible. Look at this thumbnail. Oh, it's so great.
Hey, what's up guys? MKBHD here. So, a pretty general theory I've had going for a while now is every product category that's well established enough has a go-to. Like an easy to recommend, checks all the boxes.
Can we just do a little bit higher quality here? That would be wonderful.
This is safe bet, straight shot right down the middle. Like if you want a mouse, there's the Logitech MX series that's been around. If you want a microphone, the Shure SM7B is like the standard. For phones, it's like the iPhone. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the one for everyone. In fact, it usually isn't for everyone. You use that as a sort of a starting point, and then when you find the values you have and the things you like, then you veer off into the alternatives that you might pay more for. But there's always that starting go-to. And so for
the way he's describing this as being the go-to earbuds, it's a very simple way of explaining what I was trying to say in my review. What I was trying to say in my review, which was, like, damn, these work really well, they check all the boxes, and they're not AirPods Pro. These are the ones you could just go to and get and be happy with and not have any regrets. He's got a very simple way of explaining that. So this is why he's a master of doing these tech reviews.
For wireless earbuds that aren't AirPods, the go-to is the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus for sure, 100%, and they should be. Now that doesn't mean they're perfect. That doesn't mean they're for everyone. but they check all of the fundamental boxes that make them incredibly easy to recommend and enjoy. They're pretty great. So what's so great about these $150 wireless earbuds? Well, when you look at what you want from the...
I just want to geek out real quick from the way that this is shot. So the buds are perfectly in focus. And although it looks like he's probably holding them naturally, it looks as though it's like he could be showing a friend or something in person, like, hey, look at these. But that's not how cameras work. You can't do that. So he's got a camera coming, shot over the shoulder, and he's probably doing something like this, holding it really awkwardly to the left. And the problem here that you all as a viewer probably wouldn't think about is when you're shooting for 5 minutes, trying to get the exact shot the way you wanted it, him opening the case and fidgeting with them just right. Maybe it takes 5 minutes to do. But holding your hands up like that is fine, but holding them spatially in the exact same spot in space without doing that a little bit or that a little bit, like you naturally have movement and your body wants to drift one way or another way and you'll lose focus. So the fact that he has these shots, they're crisp and clean looking, is attributed to his experience, or maybe he has one of those cameras that can shoot all of the focal lengths and you could do focus and post. Maybe that's how he's doing it. I don't know what trick he has, but these shots are really hard to get right.
They got to be small, check. They got to be lightweight, check. They got to fit in your ears, and that's a check for me. They do fit well in my ear comfortably thanks to the rubber tips, unlike AirPods, and they actually create a sort of a passive seal. Now, they're not active noise canceling, but at this...
Same thing about the seal. They fit really well in my ears. They create a better seal than the AirPods Pro. Something also really interesting about this shot is it's a beautiful shot, another beautiful shot. I don't mean to be geeking out too much from like a filmmaking perspective, but the thing that I think most people probably wouldn't notice looking at this shot here is that it looks like the Buds Plus are just sitting on a journal on a desk. Again, colors look great, but that's actually not what we're looking at. We are looking at a journal that's probably sitting on some sort of canister, but it's elevated at least like a foot or higher off the table. So this top-down shot, they have the buds in perfect focus again, but that's the way that they create that blurred background effect when it sort of looks like they're sitting on the table, but the table itself wouldn't be blurred if it were right next to the table sitting on top of a journal. So they've separated the two, but it just creates a cool aesthetic. It's the thought and detail that went into that for a shot that's not even going to last 10 seconds, and no one who is viewing this casually is even going to notice that they did that.
But the seal is actually enough that I don't miss it that much. And I realize everyone's ears are different, so different people will have slightly different fits, but I was really impressed with the fit of these earbuds and how snug they are in my ear. Now, I'd personally still rather have an active noise cancellation version of these. That's for my values and what I like. So if they made that like a pro version, I'd be super cool with that.
Same here. I agree. I like the noise cancellation of my AirPods Pro. But these fit so well in my ears that it almost like makes up for it, because just the seal is so tight that I don't get a lot of sound leak and I don't get a ton of outside noise coming in the first place. So active noise canceling, basically the AirPods Pro fit so poorly in people's ears that the active noise canceling is sort of like undersold because the fit doesn't work that well.
But even just putting these in my ear, I feel like I'm talking louder because they create that seal and dim down the environment, and by the time you start playing music, you don't really hear much else. So for flying and mass transit and construction and loud stuff, maybe this isn't the way to go, but generally, for everyday use, pretty good. So they're comfortable. Then they have a legitimate best-in-class 11-hour battery life for music listening, which is mostly what I do with earbuds, and that's great, and fast.
So 11-hour battery life, I sort of missed that in my video, but I sort of stand by my review. Like, I didn't check that metric because I think at some point, regardless of whether it's like 7 hours or 11 hours of listening time, at some point it's sort of diminishing returns. 5 minutes in the case gets you like hours back of listening time. And I never ran out of battery either way. Maybe in certain use cases, if you're flying, for example, that's going to make a difference. But most of the time, everyday usage, as long as the buds allow you to get great daily usage and you only have to plug it in every few days to get a charge, I'm happy. So I didn't realize how much of a difference Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus actually have in terms of battery, but if you turn off noise canceling on the AirPods Pro, those also go up in battery and how long they would last as well.
Charging. But honestly, being able to go a full week of casual listening and not having any battery anxiety till like the last day of the week is awesome. And then speaking of charging, the case these sit in are also pretty textbook. You can't forget about the case. It's small and slim. It's just as pocketable and lightweight as AirPods. And it has USB Type-C for charging. And it's also capable of wireless charging. If you want to put it on the back of your phone or on any wireless charger, it'll do that too. And it even has a nice hinge weight and magnets for the lid to open and close with a satisfying click. It's maybe not...
The case... So the only thing that he's missing here is that the case is just way more plasticky than... I could just tell like it wasn't constructed all that well. In terms of like high quality plastics and high quality production, but he's right about everything. The size of it, the fit, the weight, it's absolutely passable without any issues at all.
Not quite as satisfying as Pixel Buds, but that's a pretty good click. The buds are built well. They have this sort of a rubber fin around the outside that helps them seat in your ear instead of like one little piece poking out. That can get kind of painful. And I found that this is enough to stay in my ears really well. Not quite as locked in as, say, the Jaybirds with the full-on wingtips on those things, but locked in enough that I felt comfortable working out in them. It had no problems. They stay in my ears.
So something I learned about the wingtips on the last day that I had the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, I borrowed them, by the way. So the day that I gave them back, I was actually cleaning them, and I learned that you can remove the wingtips are actual just rubber, and you can actually pull them off, and they're just a ring wrapped around the buds. So I realized then, and wasn't able to put in my review, that Samsung has designed this so that they could potentially down the road release a sort of accessories wings pack for like, maybe we'll just say like $20, $30 of several different fits. And you could very easily interchange the wingtip or get a more aggressive wingtip that's going to fit them real snug, or maybe get rid of the wingtip entirely if you don't need it and make them more like aesthetic and clean looking. I didn't realize that until the last day of using them. I bet you Marques is going to miss that as well, but it's something I wish I would have included.
And speaking of working out, these are IPX2 rated, so some sweat is fine. Now, I would say they shouldn't be dedicated workout headphones like maybe Power Beats or anything IPX7 certified, but if you wear them every day and you like happen to step out and sweat while wearing them or do a quick workout, they are fine.
I just want to circle back to this shot. I was going to skip it, but I can't. So this zoom, I just want us to take a moment to appreciate the zoom that's going on here.
And speaking of working out...
Right here, this shot. It looks like, at first glance, it looks like we're just panning slowly out.
These are IPX2 rated.
But we're actually not. This is a dolly zoom. I don't know anyone else who puts dolly zooms in their tech reviews. Like, it's so crazy over the top, but he pulls it off and it looks so good and it's so subtle. It's like the most subtle dolly zoom. So what that means is instead of just having punched in a little bit and then slowly panning out, it's not a pan. Instead of doing that, what they're doing is they're actually physically moving the camera. So they've got the camera fixed on him and on a dolly. Maybe they're hand holding. I'm not sure exactly. They probably have some like rig and or simple way of doing this. But they're slowly pulling the camera back, which means they have to either manage the focus to keep the focus on his ear, or they have an automated thing that is managing the focus. as they pull the camera, equivalent to how, like, so it's all going to be going at the same speed. The focus has to be changing as the distance moves back.
These are IPX2 rated, so some sweat is fine. Now, I would say they shouldn't be dedicated workout headphones.
Now I'm like questioning if it's even happening, if it really is a dolly zoom or just a pan.
My ears. And speaking of working out, these are IPX2 rated, so some sweat is fine. Now, I would say they shouldn't.
So I'm not trained in film, so if you know, maybe I'm just like overthinking it, but if you know that what I'm seeing here, or if it's just, if you know for a fact that it is just a pan and I got it completely wrong, let me know in the comments. I'm super confused now.
Some sweat is fine. Now, I would say they shouldn't be dedicated workout headphones, like maybe Power Beats or anything IPX7 certified. But if you wear them every day and you like happen to step out and sweat while wearing them or do a quick workout, they are fine. And then the touch controls are also really simple.
So this shot right here, I've done this too. It's super awkward, but he literally is just like, all right, let me just press record and then like put some music on and then just like enjoy the music in front of the camera. But it still comes across so awkward. It's really hard to do
wearing them
to do this
or do a quick workout. They are fine. And then the touch controls are also.
We all have those moments, right, that we're like in our living room by ourselves and like the music is just like hitting the mood just right, and we're just like, oh, I'm so into this right now, and it feels good, and like he's trying to capture that moment. But like obviously acting, and it's so hard to do, but it's so hard to like portray that.
Really simple. Both earbuds have that pretty large touchpad surface, and that's where you play pause, that's where you fast forward, accept calls, long press for assistant, all that stuff. I've been using them.
So if you look at the way that it fits in his ear, it fits in mine similarly. Once the Buds Plus are seated in your ear that way, if you look at it, basically the entire exposed outside is touch sensitive, so it's really hard to adjust them without causing some sort of action. I've hung up on Friends, for example, or lots of play pausing, skipping songs by accident, because the entire outside is a touch surface. There's no surface for you to touch that you could touch safely, essentially.
With my OnePlus 8 Pro, so they call Google Assistant, not Bixby. But they work fine with any Android phone or iPhone for that matter. But they do work a little bit better with a Samsung phone, because then you can get the Galaxy Buds app, and that gives you a little more control over customizing media controls and ambient sound pass-through. But generally, even without that app,
I'm surprised that's all they talked about the app, because in my review, I went into the app in detail because in my opinion, it has a pretty strong effect on your day-to-day usage of the Buds Plus. So I'm really surprised that he didn't talk about that.
They've been rock solid, no connection issues, even walking across the studio, leaving my phone over here, having them in my backpack, no problem. And then the sound from these guys was really quite good. I was very impressed and happy with the sound from these. They have what I would call a very full sound. They have a big, rich, full bass, crisp, clean mids and highs, no background hiss. These are tuned by AKG, and they're proud to put their name on it, and I can see why. The only complaint I could see coming from a different pair of earbuds or headphones is these may actually feel a bit bass heavy if you're not used to all this, but they can turn that down in the EQ.
Another acting scene, very well done.
Quite easily. But I'll tell you right now, I won't be doing that. I listen to a lot of music, and the way they sound out the box is great. It's already great for music. I think I'd go so far as to say these are the best sounding, non-noise canceling wireless earbuds I've tried.
I agree. The sound quality was really, really good. I'm interested, maybe I should try the Pixel Buds Plus and see how those compare. See if I'm just as wowed by those, or if the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus really are like a one-off thing. Also, just happenstance that I paused at a perfect moment to show that I didn't talk about this in my review, but the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus have a microphone on the outside that is what helps cancel background noise when you're on the phone. And I believe that is the holes we are looking at are the outside mics to sense background noise.
Tried. These are the truth right now. Honestly, it makes me kind of wish I brought them out on the channel sooner. I don't really have anything bad to say about these, but I'm gonna nitpick because that's what you do, and that's how you get products to be better the next time around. I'm sure Samsung was working on a next version of these, so what I'll say is these don't really look that great to me. I feel like they could do with a little bit better of a design. I mean,
I think they look fine. I think they look good in people's ears, much better than a lot of the other stuff I've seen people wear in their ears. So in terms of like buds, I've seen some really awkward earbuds. I think that these look fine.
I guess almost none really look that great, but to me, Pixel Buds do look really good. And I love the colors. I wish AirPods did colors too like this, but I don't know, for some reason it feels like cheap plastic to me. I think maybe a matte finish that the more premium ones got going on looks better, and I think that could have saved these a bit too.
I agree. Cheap plastic is, especially most noticeably on the case, is a problem with these. But can we just talk about how small they are? Like, they almost get away with it because they're just so tiny.
But look, Galaxy Buds Plus, it's the go-to. Just remember the name. You know, the battery life, I think, is their best feature, and that's a nice, relaxing, comfortable feature to have be really good. But the sound is really good. The fit in my ears is really good. The microphones are pretty good. And then the case is great. Just checks all the boxes. So it's like, now that you know about these, you might decide, oh, okay, what I know I like, I want to spend more because I want noise cancellation. And then you can go get active noise cancellation. You spend a bit more, and there's plenty of options for those, like the Sony's and AirPods Pro. Or you might go, you know what, I like these, but I also want them to be more workout-focused headphones. Then you go for something with better waterproofing or more of the wingtip fit-in-the-ear stuff like the Jaybirds or Powerbeats. So there's other headphones that do plenty of things better than these. But if there's anyone out there wondering what's the de facto set of non-AirPods wireless earbuds, there you go. Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. Now you know. So there you have it. Thanks.
Interesting. So I'm surprised that he didn't talk, unless I missed it, he did not talk about the price. So maybe, I don't know if I should continue talking about the price because I got it wrong in my last review, so if I should keep doing that or not. But I also find it interesting that I talked about a lot of things in my review that he didn't hit, like how they sound on phone calls and how they sound in windy conditions, which maybe it's because I live in San Francisco, but those things impact my daily use all the time. So that's why those topics end up in my reviews. I guess I'm interested to know that I have a different perspective here, and that maybe I could have watched this video and not been discouraged because I have my own perspective here. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys want more videos like this and or a Pixel Buds review or more reactions to tech reviews out there. I mean, I'm happy to do more reactions too. And with that, we can say goodbye to the little one. He's just hanging out with me while I was doing this review, by the way, the entire time. What was that? Oh, you want them to subscribe? Okay. All right, guys. See ya.